Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily. My favorite makeup today is this. This is from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is the new Norvina palette. I am super loving some of the shades in this palette. For example, I'm using the shade Love today. Also Passion, Dazzling, and a little bit of Base. I'm just really enjoying these shadows a lot. I've been getting some really interesting looks, and I've been doing looks that I don't normally do, like I'm using a lot more pink, which is something I tend to avoid. I just really like the shadows. I will say this, the metallic foily ones along the top row, they're very opaque, and so I'm not used to that from that sort of shadow. I sort of generally use them as like a little bit of shimmer, but if I put just a little bit of shimmer on top, it just covers up whatever sort of weird gradation I've been trying to do with other shadows. So they're really great if you're trying to cover up mistakes because they are so opaque, but you have to use very, very little if you just want to use it as like an accent. Otherwise, it's going to overtake the whole look. But I don't actually mind that because I love shimmers, so I'm really enjoying this palette. And now on to the video. And so for today's video, I'm going to do an update on my project pan. So I was doing 18 products in 2018. I've already used up a couple and just swapped in some new stuff. This is also just something I want to keep on going because I have too many products in my collection. My collection is an entire, large bookcase, and I want to be able to use everything, and I'm trying not to buy new things unless I really need them because I don't have something like that in the collection, or I'm getting rid of something else. So I either have to pass something along to someone else, and some new sample stuff I'm not even opening, I'm just giving it away. So that kind of stuff, I just want to be very careful that I'm keeping a collection that I'm actually going to use. I don't want to throw stuff out. So there's definitely some stuff in this project pan today that I actually have finished, so that's really exciting. And I'm also going to show a couple more empties that came along that are substantial. I'm not going to bother with empties like makeup wipes. Guess what? I used a bunch of makeup wipes this month, or anything else like that. I'm only going to use actual products that you can see, I actually used this up. So first up, I did use up all of the Kat Von D mini size of the Sinner perfume, and so I'm actually just going to swap in another mini size that is mostly full and just use that one up next, since the only other perfume I'm using is the Atelier Clementine California. I'm still working on that one in the project pan, but I wanted to keep two perfumes because otherwise I just forget to put perfume on, and I do enjoy them, and I did spend actual money on a full-size bottle of the Sinner perfume, which I think is wonderful, but I think it's beneficial for me, at least for traveling, that I should try to use up these little sample sizes because these are a lot easier for me to actually carry around, and that's how I've been able to use them because I've been taking them with me traveling. So this one is completely empty, and this is going to be the new one, just as just to see where we're at. Basically, the liquid is right at the bottom of that top skull. That is on the top there, so that's where I'm going to mark that as. I'm going to add the sticker to it so I'll remember to use this one up now. I have also completely used up the Kat Von D Lock-It setting powder in the shade Translucent. I really enjoyed this stuff, and it took me a good long while to actually empty this out. It's really nice powder. I've really enjoyed using it over time, and I would purchase again. However, I do have several mini size powders right now that I want to use up first before I make a commitment to another full size. And the next time I buy a powder, I'm going to buy a bigger size, like the big guy. I'm going to swap it out with the Laura Mercier loose setting powder in Translucent. This is the OG setting powder from Laura Mercier. They have a glowy one now that is available, but I'm using the regular one. I've had this sample for at least a year, and I haven't opened it. And I've been using it for the last couple of days because the Kat Von D was about to run out while I was doing a show over the weekend because I knew I was going to need the powder, so I brought this sample with me. So far, I'm really digging this, and I'm looking forward to continuing using it because I want to see how well it lasts. It's giving me a good matte finish without being too matte, like too much of like a porcelain doll situation. So I'm looking forward to using this. I'm figuring after I try this one out, and I think I have a Cover FX powder, from there I'll be able to determine what kind I really like the best. So this is swapping in for the project pan. So this next item is not completely done, but it's getting really, really close, and this is from Tarte. This is the Amazonian Clay Blush in the shade Party. This is the birthday blush that I received last year at the beginning of the year. So let me give you a look of how that's going. And I'm excited to be done with it because I'm a little tired of this blush. I do think it's a good blush. I'm wearing it today. It's a nice, basic thing. I just want to use more stuff. I have other products I like better. So this one, I'll be glad to have this done. I'm actually going to start carrying a separate blush with me when I'm traveling because this is usually the one I take because I am trying to use it up. I'm also going to be carrying around my Too Faced Love Flush blush in the shade So Happy Together. This was a collab with Kat Von D, mostly because this blush is probably the oldest other blush that I own, and I do really like it, but I have forgotten to use it for months, and I'm afraid I mean, so far it still smells fine and it's still usable, but I know that this kind of stuff eventually is going to get a little gross, especially because I'm using this for like show stuff, and so everything I do with my show makeup, because I'm a lot more oily, eventually this starts to degrade the product a lot faster. So I'm adding this into the project pan sort of like as a bonus project, because this guy's going to be done in like the next month or two, I'm pretty sure, and then this one's going to tag in. And now there's another product in the project pan that I'm throwing out because it is becoming unusable. I've already thrown out some mascara and that sort of thing so far. Now we're going to move on to the liquid shimmering skin perfector from Becca. This is in the shade Opal. It's getting really chunky and I am just not feeling it. It's sort of like balling in on itself a little bit. This is kind of old. It's been open for a good long while. It was open before I started the project pan for at least 6 months, possibly longer. It's just not something I've been using, but now that it's starting to change texture, I just am no longer interested in using it. I'm going to swap in a different liquid product, and that is going to be this. This is from Cover FX. This is the Custom Enhancing Drops in the shade Celestial. It's a really beautiful pink shimmery shade, and I had this in the box and I hadn't opened it. It had just been sitting there, and I bought it at least a year ago. So it hasn't been opened, so it's still good and all that kind of good stuff, but I don't want it to just expire without me ever even using it. So I'm going to add this to the project pan. I'm going to swap this in for that Becca, because this Becca is going in the garbage. And now on to regular empties. First up from Smashbox, we have the Photofinish Primerizer. This is a primer plus moisturizer in one with hyaluronic acid and niacinamide. It was just a little teeny glass bottle, and I took this traveling. I did like the stuff. I thought it worked fine. I did not find it to be particularly moisturizing. I found that I still needed to use a moisturizer the way I normally do, so it's not really cutting a step. It's still using a primer. As a primer, it worked fine. I didn't find it any better than the regular Photofinish primer from Smashbox that doesn't have the moisturizer added in, so if I were going to pick one, I would just buy that one. And frankly, I have lots of other primers that I like just as well or better, so I don't have to use primer, and so this is not something I'm going to be spending my money on. I believe I got this in like a Sephora Play box, and while I did like it and I did actually use it all up, it's just not something I think I'm going to purchase the full size of. But if I ever got another sample, I'm sure I would use it. Next up from Kat Von D is the Everlasting Liquid Lipstick in the shade Outlaw. This is actually completely used up. It's really hard to tell that because, you know, the plastic is stained, but I did actually use it. Part of the problem with this one though is that the cap actually broke, so if you can see right here, like there's just a piece of it missing. So that did make it hard to keep this closed, so there was a little bit of drying out, but I did actually use this product quite a bit because I had to reapply it a lot. It got used in see, it's just crumbling apart. It got used under very hot weather conditions, and I was constantly reapplying it just because there was a lot of smooching, a lot of kissing in the show I was doing. So I thought it performed great, and I really did enjoy it. I just haven't purchased another full size because I have several other red from Kat Von D Everlasting Liquid Lipsticks, and right now I'm carrying around Malice, Thumbelina, and Santa Sangre. I'm generally using Thumbelina. That was one of the limited edition ones that came out from the Farm Sanctuary collection, but I am really enjoying it. I think it's pretty good. Malice is a little bit more orange, so I don't always use that one, and the Santa Sangre was just one I've been carrying around because it's one of my older red liquid lipsticks, so they're sort of interchangeable to me, but I'm generally picking Thumbelina instead of Outlaw. So as much as I love this, and this was like my main red lipstick, I have some other ones that are just about as good, so I'm going to use those up first before I purchase another one of these, but I do highly recommend it. I also used up from Kat Von D an entire blotting powder. This is the Locket blotting powder in the shade Light. This is what the actual compact looks like in general, and you can actually pop these out. You can buy the refills on the Kat Von D Beauty website. That way you don't have to buy the whole compact over again. So I ordered a refill, it came in, and I just popped it in there. So this is the old one. I used this constantly. I think it's great. It's my favorite blotting powder that I own. I have not found one that I like better so far, but I don't really need to because this one's great. So I'll be tossing this little metal pan too. And last but not least, I used up my Belif True Cream Aqua Balm. Now, this is a very heavy plastic jar, and part of that is like, admittedly, this whole like sticky out section here, that's a lie. That's not actually where the product is, that just makes it heavy. So that can be kind of annoying when you're using up this jar. But this is a really wonderful moisturizer. It's very lightweight. I feel very moisturized when I use it. My skin does not get annoyed. I don't get more oily or anything like that. It just feels really good. My skin looks nice and refreshed, and it feels nice. It doesn't feel dry. My makeup goes on much more smoothly. So I'm a huge fan of this particular moisturizer, and I did buy a new one from Sephora, so I have another one, plus I have a little mini one that I carry around for travel. So I always have it on me so that it's available. I just really love this stuff. So I'll be tossing this giant jar, so this is going in my recycling. And that's it. I definitely had some progress on my project pan, plus I used up some actual makeup products. I'm hoping to continue this as much as possible. I'm really trying to use the stuff that I own. It's really put into perspective the kind of products that I prefer to use, and also, you know, I have a lot of brand loyalty to certain types of things. Like, I know what brand highlighters I want to use and which ones I don't really care about, what blushes I think are the most important to me, lipsticks, etc. I'm really sort of getting a picture of like, okay, this is actually what I'm going to use. I'm never going to use this. As cool as it is as like a gimmick, I should not bother buying that. I know it's not going to get any use. So this is really helping me like sort of focus that kind of stuff. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content on this channel, please subscribe. There'll be more content coming up soon, and I will see you all soon. Bye!